So I kind of want to show you guys something interesting. Sorry I couldn't find a better figure or diagram. This guy who writes these books is all over the place, and he can't just, he talks about these interlocking calendars of the South Americas and the lost realms of like Central America, and how the Canadians calendars of the Mayas, Incas, and all of them were actually like gears, and each calendar tracked different cycles of times and different events. Like the reed tracked 52-year increments, and that would just track when the gods would return. 52 Set, the god Set, and the Egyptians had a game of 52. That 52 is very symbolic to the weeks in the year, but we're not going to get into that. My thing is, I'm going to try to come up with my own theory of Gobekli Tepe based off of this. So right here, you can see that these calendars are not very detailed. It just kind of shows how they work, and they kind of interlock and intermingle, kind of like the gear system of this ancient star tracking device, the Antikythera, which is these pictures are horrible, but yeah, it's a ancient Greek navigational thing. But this is Gobekli Tepe. That's not Gobekli Tepe. That's basically a diagram of how it's set up. It's a earthwork. These little hashes are like pillars almost. They're like rectangular pillars. And then let's see, I have another diagram that. Oh yeah, so here's enclosure D. I took a note. It has 12. This is just my notification. Notice these numbers are just the number of pillars in order in which the archaeologists discovered them. So pillar number 18 is just the 18th one to be excavated and discovered. And 43 is a very interesting one, but we're not going to really talk about that. It's more interesting of what pictographs are carved within that. But my thing is, I'm guessing sun or moon, and then you have the 12 constellations, so to say. But as you can see, is where I'm coming with is that these look like cyclical calendars, like they're going through cycles almost, and they are tracking different things, kind of like the ancient Egyptians and the Mayans. So since Gobekli Tepe, this one, I'd like to actually try to find a picture of these things. You can Google search Gobekli Tepe if you want to, but I'm trying to save you the troubles. Okay, so Gobekli Tepe is right here. You see all these pillars. So this is like what they look like. They're pillars with T-shape type of things. They have carvings. Okay, this is pillar 43, and this is why that's intriguing, because you got the bird-like thing, just like Horus holding up that circular disc, which represents the moon. So that's why I think this is all astronomical calendar recordings, because of exactly how it's laid out, just like the Mayan calendars and the Incan calendars and all that stuff that track different things. But since this is a relatively recent discovery, we don't have too many leads on what it is. But I think it's similar to the same type of tracking of time, just like the Mayans, Incas, Aztecs, Toltecs, Olmecs all had that like intercalation of rotating, so to say, cycles, like literal visualizing cycles of gears and turning. So that's pretty interesting. That's my theory on Gobekli Tepe. And Gobekli Tepe seems, from an aerial view, seems to be like most, you're just looking at a book. Let me turn this around. It seems like it's kind of like a cycle. So I think two things are happening at Gobekli Tepe. Those enclosures, some enclosures are older than the other. I think it's a refinement process where they're recalculating things and tracking the stars. But where that theory flaws for me, and that's my own personal theory, that was my first theory, is that those enclosures have different, and have inaccurate or inconsistent amount of pillars. Like, so it can't be a refinement to their observations. Especially since there's some of the younger excavation sites, like each of those entrenchments, those enclosures of those circular pillar type structures. They were built at different times. Some of them are like hundreds of years younger or older than the other ones. So, I don't think it's necessary refinement process. I think they started building one calendar and one tracking, kind of like a Stonehenge. It's like a Stonehenge and a like Aztec Mayan calendars mixed together is what I think we're looking at. I can't really give too much more information. I'm not on site. I can't give too much information if I'm not a researcher on site. But from what researchers know, they don't know much about Gobekli Tepe. It's a mystery. There's a lot of enigmatic features about it too, especially with the enigma of the human race and how we began and how it doesn't match up with history and where ancient high civilizations began and flourished, and they're not matching up with core samples and potassium argon dating and radiocarbon dating. That stuff doesn't match up with the archaeological theories as we go on, because science prevails over belief in this case, not just in the spiritual aspect, but like in theories and ideas. You can have all the theories and ideas you want, but until you have physical proof or something that can kind of correlate, then you're kind of just stuck. So that's where we're at, stuck, but it's still kind of fun to speculate. So if you guys want to speculate some more, I was actually opening up to suggestions. If you guys have a topic or something you'd like me to talk about and have my opinion on it, please let me know, and I might make a video. I was trying to say movie, but I said video instead. But anyways, I'll talk to you guys later. Love you. Bye.